when an allegation is, so when somebody is fingered for a particular, let the person be questioned. Much might not be heard or much might not be, but let's begin to have on record that when an allegation was on someone, he was invited.
And something was done about
and something was done. By that, we are beginning to look into the security issues and tackle them. Okay, but that is not the case with us here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ziggy Ibe. We've been speaking with Mr. Ziggy Ibe on AM Chat this morning on the headlines and the newspaper review. I will take a short break now, and when we return, we introduce our topic for the day and our guests. Please stay with us.
Independence broke the bonds of colonialism, freeing Nigeria to be sovereign, to practice free will and to determine its own fate. On October 1st, Nigeria added to its list of vital statistics a new status as the world's fourth largest democracy. Nigerians set a precedent in breaking from their colonial constitutional heritage, rejecting Britain's parliamentary form of democracy, which they had continued after their independence in 1960. Nigeria made that choice with characteristics pragmatism, where her new government looks remarkably familiar to an American. Since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1999, it is observed that the prolonged adventure of the military into Nigerian government and politics had basic democratic tenets, which seems difficult for those saddled with the political power and responsibilities to respect or observe. We would have matured better democratically than what we have today, so people attribute this to the military hangover Nigeria was recovering from after the long period of military dictatorship. Between 1999 and today, we have had 4 elections, and at each point, we have always improved on the previous process. Nigeria celebrates its 17 years of uninterrupted democracy. As the years go by, Nigeria is expected to grow and mature in her democratic dissection. On May 29, 1999, Nigeria returned democratic rule after 2 decades of military dictatorship in our political history. Democracy is a process, but we continue to compare democracy in Nigeria with democracy in other countries. Maturity of democracy in Nigeria should not be about number of years, even as it is the most common yardstick. It is pertinent to draw our attention to allegations of corruption in high places. Nigerians expect the representatives, that is, the executive arm of government, to protect them. Rather, Nigerians get disappointed when they hear of scandals from these representatives. Even highly placed government officials demand bribes and are shielded by the official's secret account. In order to combat this act, a remarkable account was developed known as the Treasury Single Account. The TSA is a public accounting system using a single account or a set of linked accounts by governments to ensure all revenue receipts and payments are done through a consolidated revenue account and at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Since the inception of the Fourth Republic on 29th of May 1999, Nigeria's democracy has been facing a lot of catastrophe. Although it is believed by many political pundits that crisis is part of the maturing processes of every maturing democracy, including a present democracy. Successful transition from one party to another has never happened before in the history of Nigeria elections, because in the past, it was a do or die affair. It is said that President Muhammadu Buhari is a product of the political maturity of the People's Democratic Party. That this was said due to the course of history altered by the loss and acceptance of the defeat by the former ruling party in Nigeria. That changed the course of history in Nigeria. As we all know, democracy is a political system in which the supreme power lies in a body of citizens who can elect people to represent them. We can say democracy has reigned and we have left a legacy because Nigerians are making the decisions. The results demonstrate the maturity of democracy in Nigeria. It shows that democracy has come of age. We have seen demonstration of peaceful elections and peaceful transitions from one government to another. God bless Nigeria.
Welcome back. You're still on AM Chat on MITV, and my name is Tomisin. I'm your host this morning. Today we'll be talking about youth involvement in nation building. That's our topic for the day. Youth involvement in nation building. Throughout history, young people have actively sought to bring social, political, technological, and economic change to their societies and countries. In doing so, they are sometimes credited with changing business as usual, and for this, they are portrayed as being rebellious, sometimes destructive of outdated conventional norms, reckless, or violent. Certainly, young people are today and tomorrow's lifeline through entrepreneurship, education, innovation, professionals, political and civil leaders who are vital to governance, economic growth, and peace. Okay, that's the premise where we start our discussion this morning. We're going to be looking at young people's involvement in nation building. We're going to be looking at the different spheres of their influence right now. Introducing my guests this morning. On my left, I have Mr. Chukwuma Unwoka.
Chuks Unwoko is my name.
Yes, Chuks Unwoku. Unwoko. Right. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. His name is Mr. Chuks Unwoko. And according to Mr. Unwoko, reading his words exactly, he's a publisher and a Nigerian compassionate entrepreneur. And I know that you do something about the Millennium Development Goals.
That's not
and all that. That's the name of your magazine, okay? And on my right, we have Mr. Olayinka Ola Daniels.
Thank you.
Welcome to AM Chat this morning. Like I said, I think we're going to be talking about youth involvement. But looking at the last package, which we all just saw, we're talking about how mature is Nigeria's democracy for youth involvement. That's where we start from this morning. How mature is our democracy for youth involvement? Let's start with Mr. Nwoko.
Our democracy is about close to 20 years old. I know that a 20-year-old person is gone beyond the age of a teenager and all that,
Yes,
becoming a man.
that's very true.
But I guess that from the inception, we have had a mixture of youths, get involved in Nigerian democracy and all that. Just that we haven't been able to derive the anticipated or expected premium, as it were, or benefit, if you like, because of the foundation of our politics, of our democracy, because of the wholesale democracy that we have taken on. Yesterday I was speaking somewhere and I said that I'm completely not in tandem with what is going on in Nigeria, and particularly our democracy. I have seen democracy work in China and Russia, and I've seen the progress that they have made in those spheres and all that. I've seen democracy being practiced in the United States, the place where we brought it from. How it has not helped the nation called America. All you have going on in America is what we have also imported: violence. Our culture is completely eroded. We have imported wholesale popular culture, which is not working and all that. But if you go, we all watch the World Cup. You see how organized that was. That's the best World Cup I have ever seen since 1982, when I started watching World Cups. Now, if you was here, all you would have been hearing is the argument, the corruption, all kinds of things. So the youth involvement it's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's at the level of slavery, where youths are just slavering for hoods, the money bags, the elites, acting as their thug, becoming armed robbers in the process, and eventually when the youths get into positions, what do? They imitate our political parents by stealing and by looting and by sharing our commonwealth.
Okay, so may I quickly cut in there? You were talking about the youth imitating and imbibing the culture of the people who obviously put them in place. I'd like Mr. Olayinka to say something about that. If we are saying about youth involvement, that they're going to be slaves. In Mr. Walker's words, said they're going to be slaves, obviously, to the political elites who put them there, because obviously that's what will end up happening. What do you think? What's your response to that?
Well, maybe I should start with the word of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "A man is but a product of his thought," meaning whatever you think is what you become. Now let's take that from our youth and the leaders we have today. Yes, we appreciate the National Assembly and Mr. President, the assent on the bills. Too young, not too young to run. Yes, it has taken care of a barrier, the barrier of not allowing youth to come into politics, probably to contest and all that. But one barrier has not been dealt with. That bill did not address a particular barrier, which is the financial barrier of the youth.
Oh, we're going to be talking about the financial barrier in the second segment.
Because why I raised that is going back to dancing to the tunes of the people
who put them in place.
Who put you in place. Because you don't have the financial capacity to run.
Why not talk about the intellectual? Let's start from the intellectual capacity of these young people, because what I understand from what Mr. Woko is saying is they are brainwashed already. They are not brainwashed.
You are a mother, and you are a wife. You do not brainwash your children. They imitate your children.
Imitate you. Okay.
They emulate you. They copy you. That's natural.
The natural thing. So yes. they have been put in condition.
Follow the examples.
Exactly. They have been conditioned to follow the examples of their parents. So now talking about that particular behavioral trend,
I think
how do we deal with that?
Also, I think we need to break it down into pieces. Now, because when we talk about youth, generally, now this set of people, I think we should still further break them into categories.
Teenagers.
Not even. I'm not going into that. I'm not going to by age. Let's pick the number 18 to 35.
Okay.
Now, these are the people, because you are saying that following the steps of their fathers or picking from us. Now, how many? What is the percentage of those ones picking? What is the percentage of the youth even being interested in the so-called politics we are talking about? What is the percentage of, because what you see them do is either they are for the well, they talk about football, they talk about fashion, entertainment showbiz, and all that, showbiz and all that. That is what you see now. The few ones among them that we can say, okay, fine, maybe these are youth that I think they are experienced, or they have passion for this politics and all that. Don't even know how to go about it. Now, it's what they have seen so far from 1999 to date. There is a way our leaders, our fathers, play the role, the so-called politics so far. Now, what do they use these youths for? Tokenism. They are the one that go to hijack ballot box. They are the one that goes with those axes and machetes and guns and whatever that fight. They are the one that use to perpetrate evils. Now, you can say the youth we are talking about, rather than them having an ideology,